Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. I'm your host, Lia Chang.
On this segment of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang, Howard Ho invited me to Black Theater Night at Gypsy, and Ashley Ha was in town to join us. Gayle King moderated a talkback with Audra McDonald and director George C. Wolfe. Special thanks to the generosity of Luis Miranda for the tickets.
Interesting, but the thing which I think is so phenomenal, you're watching humans. You're watching human behavior. You're not just watching a prototype of human behavior. You're watching these people and this mother and this family and this woman who decides the only way she's going to win is by breaking the rules. And that's phenomenal. That's, it's extraordinary.
But the words haven't changed, but do you think the interpretation has changed of this play?
Well, I think
back then in 1959, I'm saying this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, what is so fascinating to me, which because I obsessed with when I first started working on it, there was this legacy of Rose is a monster. Rose is a monster, and she's not exactly going to win Mother of the Year, but still. But I just thought a lot about it, and I was saying it's because she says, "I want my daughters to travel like me." Her ambitions, I've done with 3 marriages. I've done that. I'm not doing that anymore. So she's figured out the path that has been crafted for her is not going to work for the ferocity of her spirit and the sense of belief. And one of the things that was really fascinating to me while we were in previews, Audra and I had this conversation, and she keeps on saying, "I want you to be a star. I want you to be a star." And she's not saying exclusively, "I want you to be glamorous and beautiful and have limos and all of that." She's saying, "I want you to be safe as a woman. Yeah. If you're a star, you're safe. You can't be raped. You can't be lynched. Yeah. Horrible things won't happen to you. There's an insulation."
But it is interesting as an audience member, a mother who's pushing her daughter to be a stripper, and then when she comes out, we're like, "Yay!" We're like, "Hey, she looks so good."
Well, because I don't think she's pushing her to be a stripper. She's pushing her to be beyond harm.
Okay.
And it ends up, and so she tries all the legitimate stuff, and she ends up, and there's an alternative, and it seems to be the only alternative left. And it's just really fascinating to me. It's like boxing. Within the American structure of society, it's so interesting. If you follow the progression of boxers, a lot of them were Jewish, and then Italian, and then they became black, and now they're Caribbean, and then they're because it was one of the ways where you could escape the limitations of the system that was in place and become above and beyond. And showbiz was the exact same way.
But George, there had never been a black gypsy before. When you heard Audra was black, what did you think? Were you thinking, how is this going to work?
Yeah, well, no, if Audra McDonald put on green tights and wanted to sing "I'm Flying," we would go see Peter Pan. So I go, "Wait, what? Audra? Yeah, green tights. Yeah, Peter Pan.
Makes sense.
Buy my ticket now." Okay.
That is the extraordinary talent of Audra McDonald. You sit in awe and you watch her night after. Come on!
Here she is, boys! Here she is, one! Here's Rose. Turn it up, like the lights. You've got nothing to hit but the heights. I had a dream last night. I dreamt up a whole new act. Honey, everything's coming up roses. Some people sit on their butts. Got the dream, yeah, but not the guts. That's living for some. She's going to be a star.
If it kills you and her.
Let me entertain you, and we'll have a real good time. Finished? We're just beginning, and there is no stopping us this time.
We all know it's coming, that moment. That dun, 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 dun. how in the world do you get ready for that night after night after night?
You can't think about it at the beginning of the show. You have to take the journey, and you have to, as Rose has to keep believing that everything is going to work out, but Rose is going to force her dream and make it a reality. And if I'm thinking at the beginning of the show, then I'm going to be left alone at the end of the show and abandoned by everybody that I've ever loved, then I would never start the journey, so I can't think about it.
You can't, I know, but the reviews have been extraordinary. There was a story about somebody that left the theater, guys, and they were so gutted they didn't know whether to go right or left or just walk into traffic. That is what you do. So I wonder what it does to you. I was sitting over there. Cheyenne, who's in seat 17, row I, has seen the show. She's seen the show 8 times already.
Oh my God. Wow. On stage next time.
Why do you keep coming back? And she said, because Audra McDonald makes me believe I can do things I didn't think I could do.
And you can.
A lot of people feel that about you, but I wonder, has the role changed you, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your acting and what you do?
Has this role changed
Yes,
me?
yes.
I think every role that I do, I think you learn a little bit more about who you are as an artist. You learn about your limitations, and you learn about how to get past what you perceive to be your limitations. And so I didn't think I could do this role.
Wait, stop. I didn't think you could do this role
because I hadn't done it. And there's all these icons, there's all this idea in everybody's head who knows this show.
Hello, Miss Icon.
But they feel that they are an expert. Everybody who has seen this show or been a part of the show feels like they are an expert on what this show is and who it should be and how it should be sung and how she should look and how she should act.
Yeah.
So I was letting all of that sort of cloud whether I could actually do it and get away with it. But
So how did you get past that?
Enter George C Wolfe. Yes. Enter George. I mean, obviously, I told a story about one of my dearest friends who's passed, Gavin Creel, who put the idea.
He did the same to me. I went to see him in a reading, and he said, "You and Audra are doing Gypsy. It's not a conversation."
But I've worked with George before, a couple of times before. We've known each other for 100 years, but we've worked together twice now. And George, first of all, loves actors. He loves his actors. And he gets down in the dirt with his actors. And he challenges them. He goes 500 million miles an hour, so the actor's like, okay, I'm trying to catch up. But George is never going to leave you in that dark, scary place alone. He's going to be there with you night after night, obsessing over it, texting you at night or
Okay, Audra, did he say
Netflix.
something that clicked for you that you said, I didn't think I could do it? Did he say something to you? That
No,
made you
it was
think?
just every day. It was
Okay.
just every day. It was like a dig. It was a dig. It was a discovery every day. And George also never says, that ain't it. He just goes, all right, okay, but how about let's try this. George is a yes and that's what you get in acting. Yeah, yes and.
What was your goal, George, in reviving this show of all the shows? I know Audra and you huddled and she said, I want you. What was your goal in reviving the show?
Well, what was my goal? I think it's just this. There are barriers. There are barriers in this society, and then there are those people who say, yeah, but. And they say, yeah, but I'm going here. Yeah, but I'm doing this. Yeah, I know that. And that's very, and she's a phenomenal character to me because she does not stop. She does not stop. But also, and there's an unrelenting quality, but also one of the things that I think is phenomenal about her is that Rose's turn, aside from being a tour de force, it's really about someone after pushing people, has the bravery to look inside, see their own limitations, push themselves past the limitations, to confront the mistakes, and then come out on the other side in a different place.
Yes.
And that's, I mean, and that's the phenomenal thing that theater can do. It takes you on a journey where you see possibility, and you also see limitations, and you also see forgiveness.
Yes.
And I think that
Yes.
that
You know-
Rose forgives herself.
Self. Oh, I like
She
that.
finally starts to understand
I like
herself.
that.
She understands her mama trauma once she gets that.
Her mama trauma.
Yeah.
But I've heard you say, Audra, that you do not see her as a monster or a villain. And most people, you know, we're sitting there very judgy as an audience member.
I used
Very
to be
judgy.
judgy too.
Yeah, very judgy. What is it that you wanted us to see? If you don't want us to see her as a monster and a villain, what do you want us to see?
She loves her babies more than life itself. She loves those girls. Those girls are her life. She doesn't have life without them. She really doesn't, which is why Rose's turn is, the start of that is like, wait, what do you mean I don't have anything? That's all I have. You know, there's certain lines that Rose, when she says, I fought your whole life.
Yes.
There's, at the beginning when she says, because you were born in a call, she's always calling back to when those girls were literally a part of her. And I think what Rose, because she has the trauma of the abandonment from her own mother, Rose never cut the umbilical cord.
Does it take on a different meaning, guys, as a black woman when you're saying the words and you're looking at the story the way you look at it?
Well, I mean, I am a black woman, so and
I am too.
nice to meet you, black woman. No, I mean,
I am not a black woman.
You were talking about your own daughter.
Yeah.
And just about what we want for our children.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
And the opportunity that we want.
And we
That's
want
what I
more
mean.
for our children than what we had, and especially for this black woman in this particular era, knowing full well that she did not have the opportunity. And you know, they have the torpedoes full speed ahead. These girls are going to get it. And everything she says in that first scene comes true. She says, you know, I'm going to get my kids and get out, and we're going to travel, and we're going to become stars. And it happens. She makes it happen. But because I'm a black woman, I have my grandmothers and aunties and great grandmothers and great aunties and mother, and I know this woman. I know her. I was raised by this woman, and this just the archetype of who she is as a black woman. I just know her, and so this for me is a love letter to all of those women.
Yeah, there was one of the things that was really interesting to me is that all the original creators, Sondheim and Arthur Laurents and Julie Stein, all went through the Depression. So I spent a lot of time digging up photographs, and I saw the most disturbing, astonishing photograph, and it was from the Dust Bowl. It was a white woman, and she had her 3 children sitting on the front porch, and someone took a picture, and they said they had a sign painted on wood which said 3 children for sale, $1. She was not selling them for money. She was selling them because she could not feed them. And there's something about that struck me, a love so deep that she was willing to lose her children so they could grow. And that was just, and just seeing that picture, I just went, oh, that's the determination and the desperation. They're going to be better than I was. And Rose, that's her commitment, because she's done the wife thing. Didn't work, not interested, we're not doing that. She's done the Seattle thing, no, get the hell out of there, you know. And so she moves, and that I think is just so, you know, it's that force that's going to be better. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be better than what it is now.
What do you want us to feel? Because the emotion to me sometimes is so great. You do feel, I want to do something, but I'm not quite sure with all the emotion I'm feeling. Because we get blown away night after night after night, Audra, by what you do on stage. It is a tour de force. What do you want us to do with this? I'm serious. I mean, I listen to Cheyenne. I mean,
Yeah.
what you do for people and how people feel about that performance night after night, it is extraordinary to me.
Well, I feel like where we are right now, I don't want to get too deep.
As a country?
As a country, as a world.
As a world, yes.
We are being challenged to hold on to our humanity right now. And there are forces that want us to forget about our humanity, don't they? And so when you see a show like this, or theater, it makes you confront your humanity. It makes you confront your vulnerabilities, other people's vulnerabilities. It makes you confront life, mortality, love, all of it. It makes you confront it. You know, that's the great thing about everybody. Bill Brown has the great saying, everybody comes into a theater separately, and they check their brains with their hats, but they take their hearts to their seats. And so I want you to feel as raw and as human as you can when you leave the theater, and then go do something about it.
Empowerment. Empowerment.
I know it's a very long day for you, but what do you do after do you do something with your voice? Do you wrap your neck? Do you get in a snuggie? What do you do? Yes. What do you do?
I usually have a green drink that's kale and pineapple and apple, and I drink that after the show. It's in my refrigerator right now. I do a little warm down, and I live about an hour away.
No way.
So the drive home for me, as I try and do connections and spontaneity and crossword and I get angry, but I work on it. That's my come down time. And I have a wonderful voice teacher that warms me up about 3 to 4 times a week before shows. So he gets me ready for my show so that I can do this in a safe way. Yeah.
George, what do you do?
What do I do?
Yes.
To calm down. I'm still figuring that
And Audra, one more thing, because I know your last Sunday is the 17th.
That's the entire show. We close the show on August 17th.
August 17th.
August 17th. Yeah, that's when we shut up shop.
I've heard from reliable sources that Oprah's flying in from Hawaii, but don't tell anybody.
Oh dear.
So when the show closes on
Yes.
the 17th, are you going to take a break? Are you guys going away? Are you already working on something else that you don't want to share with the class at this time?
I mean, there are things that I have planned, but I'm going to lie down for a good 5 days.
Thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Until next time.